This is where spirituality can take a turn that isn't for your spiritual evolution because you're bypassing. Escaping is bypassing. If you're not sitting with what you consider low vibe, if you're not sitting with the negative emotions, and negative is just your perspective, all emotions are valid, but especially the negative ones, because those tell you where you're in alignment with fear somewhere. What are you afraid of? What are you afraid of losing? What are you afraid is going to happen? There's some type of a fear there. Are you afraid that people are going to think a certain way of you? Are you afraid that you're not going to get yours before someone else takes it from you? Whatever that fear is, you're not in alignment with your source self. In other words, you're not in alignment with the opposite frequency of fear, which is love, the dominant frequency of source. So you want to sit with low vibe. You want to sit with negative emotions. You want to sit with all emotions and be a good house guest. Invite them in and say, what are you here to teach me? Where are you showing me where I'm in alignment with fear and out of alignment with my true source self, out of alignment with the dominant frequency of source, which is love? What am I fearing? And once we start to ask, what am I fearing? Then we can start to debunk the fear. Is the fear real? Maybe we can sit down and list 5 reasons why the fear may not be real. A lot of times it's not a valid fear. It's just a trigger. A trigger is speaking up for a piece of unhealed trauma that doesn't feel safe. Is it an actual fear, or is it just an unhealed trauma? Well, let's dig. When did you first feel that fear? Was it in childhood? Oh, okay, wonderful. Well, let's go back and do some shadow work. Those negative, low vibe emotions are there to show you what you incarnated to feel the contrast of, to get a greater understanding of what you actually are. So it's the healing through what you consider low vibe that has the biggest spiritual evolution and transformation for you when you accept it. Now, that's an interesting word, accept, because accept is really the definition of love. The definition of love is to take something as yourself. What does that really mean? Integration. It means integration. This is why we don't make an enemy of our unhealed trauma. We don't make an enemy of the shadow. We don't make an enemy of the ego. We take the higher frequency of love, apply it to the lower frequency of unhealed trauma, which is the definition of healing, to be integrated into your more higher dominant frequency through acceptance. So it's integration. So when you integrate those negative emotions and you use alchemy by transmuting it into a higher frequency by using the eternal elixir of love, acceptance, then you start to debunk that fear. You're debunking the lower frequency, right? Which by default raises the frequency. This is integration. This is spiritual alchemy.